All right, I hope everyone is doing good today. It is pouring rain in Texas. Seems like every major city we've got has gotten rain. But today we're going to talk about mortgage rates and how they don't matter. Let's go forward. All right, so a lot of investors, a lot of home buyers, everyone that has an opinion in the housing market today is screaming, "Hey, we're not going to have a crash." And when they say crash, I think they really mean is housing prices aren't going to go down very much significantly, right? I think that's what we mean by crash. Um, they say it and they say, hey, well, they point to this one data subject of the majority of the homes out there have mortgages that are under 5%, right? I think it's like 80, it's like right here, it says 80% of Redfin defines a mortgage as one below 5%. Let's see here. So, like 85% of mortgages are under 5% or something like that, right? I'll let you do the research on it, but that's what they say, and they say of that 80%, 85%. 50% or more of those mortgages are around 3%. So it could be like 2.9, 3.5, something like that, right? And so they say, hey, this is going to make it to where, as some of these Google searches would say, is that, hey, people aren't going to move, right? And so it's going to gridlock the housing market. So in other words, if rates are up at 7% or 6% today, and you've got a 3% rate, well, you're not really looking to move because of the rate or something like that, or especially when you combine it with the massive amount of what the housing prices are, right? How much they've gone up. So you're not only paying a higher interest rate, but you're paying a higher mortgage, and people are going to be in the mindset of, oh, I'm just going to stay put, right? And I'd agree with that for a second, but I don't agree with the fact that just because the mortgage rate is low means we won't have a housing shift, right? This is why. Your interest rate does not matter if you can't pay your mortgage. Let me say it again. The interest rate on a home doesn't matter if you cannot pay your mortgage, okay? Doesn't matter if it's 1%, doesn't matter if it's 10%. If you can't pay that mortgage, your interest rate does not matter, okay? So, let's take a look at jobs, because how do you pay on your home? The average person pays on because of their jobs, right? So what happens when unemployment goes up? Right now, today's unemployment rate is about 3%, right? Unemployment rate falls 3%. Okay, that was the beginning of this year, right? Beginning of this month, actually. And today, the date is 1/24 of 2023. So we'll get the February's jobs numbers sometime in the first, second week of February type thing. So, but the Fed is pushing unemployment higher. They have come out and said, and that's the Hill says, here's ABC. In a sense, to me, this is a little bit old news because I heard it like a month or so ago. But the Fed wants higher unemployment rates, okay? Fed says unemployment will rise. Here's who economists say will lose their job first. I don't really care about that. I don't know if they're right. Why the Fed is pushing unemployment higher. This is the real issue, right? Again, this is Jerome Powell. His job as the Fed Reserve Chairman is to walk this tightrope of inflation at around 2% and unemployment under, I think it's under 6% or something like that. So that is a tightrope, because the more money we have and the less stuff we have, the higher prices go, right? Well, the more and the higher prices go, the more we need jobs, right? Well, the fewer jobs we have, the less we can buy stuff, which will take down inflation, right? Because inflation is basically money chasing after stuff, and if there's not a lot of money chasing after stuff, well, the price of the stuff goes down. All right. So, what in the Federal Reserve's mind is going to help stop inflation, right? And I'll let you read this and stuff like that, but the way that they want to stop inflation is to is to lower the amount people are making, and they want unemployment to raise slightly, right? So we certainly haven't given up on the idea that we can have a relatively modest increase in unemployment. And I don't know if they're going to do that, right? Again, when the Fed aims at something, typically they overshoot it by a mile and say whoops, because they aren't forward thinking. They're always looking in the past, right? Nonetheless, we need to complete this task, he continued. Put simply, the Fed knows its past failure rate hikes will lead to higher unemployment, won't stop fighting inflation because of it. But higher unemployment isn't just a side effect of Fed's plans; it's a goal, right? So they want to get it back in balance. It will going to be extremely painful for those families who are going to be hit with a double whammy. Not only are prices continuing to go up at this very high inflation rate, they might lose their jobs as well. So here's my point. We can go through this article a ton, right? But here's my point. The Federal Reserve, the one who has a very, very large influence on the market, wants unemployment to go up, right? And this is back, I think, in September, right? Yeah. This is back end of last September, October. Okay, they are slowly increasing tightening things to make unemployment go up, right? So what affects the housing market, right? Is it the stock market? Is it the price of gas? Is it interest rates? Is it employment? What affects it the most? Well, the price of gas doesn't really affect it that much. It does a little bit. With new housing demand, they got to get stuff out there. You got contractors out there to help, make a house be pretty and put on the market and all that good stuff. It affects it, but not very much, right? The stock market doesn't really affect it that much. If anything, if people lose out in the stock market, they might not go up buy a really, really nice new house, right? But it's not going to affect it too much, okay? Interest rates, are they going to affect the housing market directly? Yeah, they kind of do, but they don't affect it as much as unemployment, or employment, I should say. Employment is the number one factor that affects housing prices. Why is that? Well, to get this nice pretty house, what you got to do, right? Well, you got to pay for those, you get those keys in cash, or do like this guy, well, I'm going to assume he's doing it, and who knows, but you're going to get a bank note, right? You're going to get a loan. 95% of the houses out there are, through one way or another, are through loans. They're not cash purchases, right? How do you get a loan? You go to the bank. How does the bank approve you? They qualify you. How do they qualify you? They say, hey, let me see your income. Let me see your job history. Let me see some paper proof that you're going to pay this loan back, right? And then we give us faith to give you the money. Well, as soon as you don't have a job, the bank says no. So no job equals no loans, right? No loans equal not many people buying houses. Not many people buying houses equals housing prices going down. If the Fed says they're wanting to increase unemployment by like 1%, 1.5%, you're probably guessing they're gonna overshoot that. They're gonna hit 2 to 3%, right? Remember, whatever the Fed says they want to do, whether higher, low, whatever, just double it type thing. If they say, hey, inflation's at 8 or 9%, it's probably more likely at 16 to 18%, right? If the Fed says, hey, we want unemployment to go up 1.5%, it's probably gonna go up 2.5%, 3%, something like that, right? It's just the way history shows us it works. I'll let you do the research on it. But the Fed wants unemployment to go higher, and they're going to overshoot this goal, and people are going to lose their jobs. And people without jobs don't have the money, don't have the qualifications to get a house, right? Well, not just that, but what happens when you don't have a job? Well, you live off your savings while you go look for employment, right? Well, here's the thing. What if, and I'm going to spoil a little bit, like say you're in tech and all these companies are laying off and you're trying to find a job. Well, you got a lot of competition, right? And more competition equals lower pay. And do you really want to take a 20% cut in your salary? You're making $100,000 and you're going to take an $80,000 job? Not at first. You're going to wait. You're going to see if you can find something better, right? Well, After a few months, you go on and on, you're burning through your savings, and you're going to start to try and take any job you can. Let's see if you can find it. But if you can't, if that opportunity you missed that opportunity, and you can't find another job or an equal job or enough of a job to make the payments, right? And your savings account is low, you have a choice, right? And I'm going to say it this way so you remember it, but you have a choice. You're going to lose your ass or you're going to lose your assets, right? One or the other. Now, many people are going to sell their assets, right? They're going to lose their assets. So they're going to sell their gold, they're going to sell their Bitcoin, they're going to sell their real estate, right? They're going to do this, they're going to sell their house, downsize, stuff like that. So now, not only do you have houses not being approved, but now you've got even more coming on the market, either through volition. They say they're choosing, hey, honey, we can't keep up with this mortgage with no job. We have to sell the house, which doesn't happen a lot, but it does. Or more likely, foreclosure, where people don't want to accept that reality, right? They don't want to let go of the house, and they will be forced to let go. And anybody that's been on the foreclosure list, been door knocking, been talking to people on that pre-foreclosure list, those people hold out way too long, and they dig themselves into so deep of a hole that they will never get out. So what does this all mean? Well, let me. So what does this all mean, right? It means that I am of the opinion, it could be wrong, but housing is not going to go up for a good long time, right? It has on the business cycle. Let's see here. There we go. Perfect. Housing has gone on its way up. Here we go. So housing was right here in 2021, 2022. And now in 2023, we're probably right around here. We're about to dip into the recession, right? Are we going to go through depression or not? I don't know, but the way things are lining up, I am preparing for it. Oh, man. We will get to that in some more videos about the banking system at FDIC, which is scary and very depression-like. Anyhow, so housing, it's hit its peak. 2021, 2022 was the top of the peak. All right. Maybe I would say late 2020, early 2022, that was the peak, right through there. Now we're just going down. And right now we're right here. We're just at the start, and we're going to keep going down, down, down. Okay. And then around here is going to be the best buying opportunity that you've ever had. But you're not going to get that if you bought a house up here and it's devalued by 20 or 40%. And the bank's not going to loan you any money, right? Anyway, we'll get to that in a different video. But my point is, I don't think it's going to be a big crash. But let me ask you this. If we have a 4-year, 5-year recession where housing prices go down 10 to 15% a year on average across the U.S., that's 50, 60% down, right? Over the period of 5 years. And again, as an aggregate whole, some places be hit by 30%, some places might be hit by 70%, right? Happened in the last recession. That's where I think we're at. That's what I think we're headed for. So when someone says to you, hey, interest rate, it's not going to happen because of interest rates, I think that they're only half right. I think it's going to slow things down because lower interest rates do help because they lower the payments. However, if they bought at a high housing price or refied at a high housing price, the payment might be around the same or similar. Either way, it doesn't matter if they're unemployed, right? And that is going to be a sinky ship that will take maybe 2 or 3 years, and then it will level out. All the bad debt and everything will be gone, and then we'll come back up into recovery and expansion again, right? So where are we at right now? The Fed started doing this or started talking about this late September, we'll just say October 2022, right? Showed you this tech layoffs. Look at this. Let's just see some company layoffs in 2022. Cisco 5%, DoorDash 6%, Candy Digital, I don't know about that. 33% of them laid off though. Redfin 13%, Amazon at that time 1%. Meta, 13%. This is all the end of last year, man. Snapchat, 20%. I mean, I'll let you go through it. This is on modo.com, just insights. Peloton, 20%, right? Virgin Hyperloop, which I have no idea, but laid off 50% of their workforces, right? Now, if they only got 40 people, they let go 20. Might not be big, but there's still some big names out there, right? Like Robinhood, 9%. Snapchat, 20%. Peloton, 12%. Twitter, 50%. I think we all heard about that one. Meta, 13%. Let's go look at layoffs here, right, in 2022, 2023. These are some nice charts. Here's some nice companies with layoffs with the percentage rates and everything like that, and number laid off. So, I mean, the total of it, I like that, is 31,000 people were laid off, right, between last year and the current year, right? Actually, this is great. Here we go. All right, end of last year, by last year, tech companies laid off just under 160,000 employees. And this year, so far, again, we're not even through the first month, they've laid off just under 60,000 employees, right? Layoffs are coming. Right now, tech is getting hit really, really hard, right? Because interest rates. But soon, everybody else will. This is just this is the beginning. This is the bellwether, right, for things. So pay attention. I'd encourage you to pay attention. I'd encourage you, if you've got real estate, this is not financial advice. None of it is. But what I did is I sold off in 2021, 2022 at the top, right? Reinvested that into minerals, and I am making a ton of money, 20 to 40% returns. It's amazing. If you're interested in that, let me know, but contact me. But what I want you to know from this is that just be cautious out there, because what people say, what they give hope about, is not always going to be true in the next 2 to 5 years. Okay, again, think about when you buy a house, unless it's a flip, you got to look at it in the 5 to 10 year terms. Okay, if you buy a house right now, when we're right here, in 2 years you might be in the dumps. In 5 years it may be through the recovery, just depending, right? I'd rather buy in 2 years in this depression where prices are depressed, and I get amazing freaking deals. And if that interests you, contact me. I'm definitely looking for partners to do that. My name is James. I'll sign off with that, but I wanted to let you guys know, I wanted to walk you through it, that with all the hype about interest rates, that again, interest rates don't matter if people can't pay the mortgage. And I'll leave you with that.